Welcome to the Climb! This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. As a matter of fact, that's literally what the CLIMB means. It's an acronym that stands for creating leverage in the music business. You want leverage. It's what you're going to need to win, and this podcast exists because we want you to win. What is leverage, you ask? It's a strategic advantage. It's the power to act effectively because they need you just as much as you need them, or they need you more than you need them. And that's the place you want to be. That's where the real deals are made. So who came up with that amazing acronym? It's my good friend, my wordsmith, and my co-host, Mr. Brent Baxter. Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And Brent also helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and once you got those two things licked, he gets you right in front of the pros. He connects you with the pros. Can't do any better than that. You can find Brent real easily at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. They help you find your sound, and they help you grow your audience so you can become the artist that everybody loves, and so you can get paid. Daredevil has worked with multi-platinum artists like Colin Ray, Tracy Lawrence, Ty Herndon, and Andy Griggs, just to name a few. You can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular, no S, and there is no S because there is no other Johnny D.
What's up, brother?
Hello, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
I'm getting ready.
You're at the helm today. What are we
I am. I'm driving the ship right into the rocks. All right, so
Exxon Valdez, coming your way. Hold my beer.
Yeah. Lighthouse, go to the light. So, all right, hopefully not. Hopefully we're going to actually bring a lot of value to, especially the writers out there. So what I want to talk about today is, as songwriters, sometimes, we have the curse of knowledge we've talked about. We can leave too much information in our heads and off of the page when we write a song. Mm-hmm. Information that's in our head doesn't make it to the page, and so the listener is lost. So I have a technique to help you beat that and to overcome the curse of knowledge. And that's what we want to talk about today. After these important
we
messages.
Read this 5-star review.
Ooh, tasty.
So this is a 5-star review from Terry, and it says, "These guys are full of great information that I listen every chance I get, and even listen to some episodes multiple times just to absorb it. Love this show. Horns up." Thank you very much, Terry, with the rock and roll horns. Love that.
Nice.
So, hey guys, listen. If you feel the same way Terry does, do us a favor. Number one, leave a rating and review on iTunes. It takes 30 seconds. It makes us look legit to people who aren't aware of who we are. They don't have the curse of knowledge. They don't know who we are. They don't know our personalities, and they're just trying to figure out if this is worth their time or not. That helps them decide, and we'll read it on the air and make you famous. Number two, share it. I mean, straight up, there's nothing better than to share. If you like this stuff, give us a shout out and share it on social media. We always appreciate that. Help out your fellow musicians who could benefit from it. Number three, subscribe. You'll get every full episode every Tuesday automatically, and every little mini-sode that's just a power pack of value bombs for you in the songwriting world and in the social media world to market your stuff better. And those come every Friday. So makes it easy, goes right into your podcast player. And finally, what am I missing?
CLIMB community.
Oh yeah, the CLIMB community. Join. It's on Facebook. Join it. Everybody who wants to subscribe or wants to join it gets let in. You have to request to be let in. We'll roadhouse you if you're obnoxious and you try to spam everybody. This is a place to get knowledge, to appear, to ask questions, to get answers, to offer answers to people that are asking questions. Maybe you've got some experiences you can share that would benefit the other team members. This is not a place to spam the crap out of people. And we, by the way, we have days in there where we're like, hey, this is
Music Monday. Yeah. You can drop your songs as a comment under this link. This is a nice little place to do that.
Yep.
And so, you can't get your stuff heard, but there's a reason.
There you go. Yeah. Don't be a moron.
I know.
So there you go. So with that, let's get on to
the topic at hand.
What is this secret little trick that you have that helps us?
Right. So we're talking about the curse of knowledge, right? So you know the whole story in your head, but it doesn't make it on the page, and as a result, the listener gets a little confused. So what I want you to do is and this matters. All right, why do we do this? First of all, why do we sometimes write songs and it's so crystal clear to us, but it's not crystal clear to our listener? You know, they're looking at it kind of glassy-eyed, confused. They didn't get the emotion. What happened? So it's because we know the story, but we didn't translate into the song. Maybe it's because we've lived the story, and so our memories kind of fill in the blanks that are in the lyrics. The lyrics full of blanks, but we have the memories of the real event that kind of fill that in for us, right? So to us, it looks complete because we have information that's not on the page. Or we don't know the story well enough, and we come up with a vague, kind of disjointed story, and so it's really just kind of vague to us, but we haven't been honest about it. But then it's going to be vague to the listener and disjointed like and blanks that aren't filled in, and so they're going to be confused there because we haven't done our work. So either way, our lyrics can sometimes just tell kind of about the story or give little parts of the story without actually giving us enough of the story to be compelling in a good way to move the listener emotionally to convey what we want to convey.
Right.
So curse of knowledge. A lot of times I know what the story is. You know, it's who was it? One of my nieces was over at the house the other day, and she started telling this story about, and we didn't know what she was talking about. She's like, and then we had these, and the eggs were just cracked open and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, what?
Just bouncing around like a crackhead.
Right. And we're like, what are you talking? And then, you know, our sister-in-law, Molly, was like, hold on a second. She doesn't always tell you the beginning. We got some chickens. Okay. And then, you know, whatever, dog got into the chicken, you know, the eggs were, okay. You know, so like my little niece, Andy, cute as a button, she knew the story in her head, so she just dove in like halfway in, and we're like, whoa, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, catch me
exactly, yeah. And can I catch it later on Netflix? What I missed? It's going to be on Hulu tomorrow because I missed the top. And so, you know, it's a good example of what happens in our songwriting sometimes. We just dive in assuming somehow we're so excited and we assume that people know what's going on. We don't. So we don't want to do that with our songwriting. We don't want to just say, and the eggs broke. What?
Yeah.
You know,
where'd the eggs come from?
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, so you might say, for example, last night you made me cry, without telling us that, say, the guy made you cry because he looked at you with, you know, cold blue eyes like you're some stranger he was telling goodbye. You know, you weren't painting the picture. You're just saying he made me cry. You're like, okay. And even though last night you made me cry makes sense, but still, I'm not getting all that I could from that. It's just cold intellectual knowledge.
Yeah, how am I going to relate to it?
Why do I care?
I can't see it. Yeah.
Why do I care? Right? So it's up in your head. You see the picture when you sing that line. Maybe you see how he looked at you with those cold blue eyes, but the listener won't see that. They can't. They're not in your head. So what I want you to do is I want you to write the video before you write the song.
Ah.
Yes.
That's hot.
So, yes. So you don't want to just tell the emotions. You want to show the cause of the emotion. It's going to hit the listener on a deeper level. So one way to do this is, instead of telling, you want to show. So when you write the video, I'm not talking about actual storyboarding where you're drawing out like basically a comic book version of this angle and like people may do for like real videos they're going to go spend thousands of dollars on. What I'm talking about is just writing down what you see in your mind's eye when you're thinking about the story in your song. It can be stream of consciousness, or it can be like more structured. It could be memories, or it could be make-believe. It doesn't matter. What I want you to do is to write out and capture the sights, the sounds, the taste, the feel, the smell of your story, all the senses, and just start writing that out. So you can start kind of writing the video, and maybe you do. Maybe you have the lyric, or what you're thinking is, you know, maybe you just kind of map out the story or take a couple notes, and then beside it you're going, okay, what does this part look like? What does this part look like? What does this part look like? And it can be good for rewriting your song. If you have a song that's not connecting with people, and you're gonna have that on one page over here, and here's my lyric. Okay, each section of this, what does that look like? Let's really flesh that out. You know, if I'm just giving emotion, like you made me cry. Okay, well, how would I show that in a video? Okay, he's staring at me with cold blue eyes, and he's got a suitcase in one hand, the doorknob in the other, and he kicked the dog on the way out, or whatever. You know, whatever that is. Paint that scene
Ghosted
from
me
that line
on texts.
Yeah,
like
all that stuff. And then you can go back in and you can replace those lines with some of those images that are just kind of telling lines, and you can just replace it with more of a showing line, which is going to make your lyric a lot stronger and help the listener understand what's going on an emotional level. So the reason it's good to write the video of your song, a couple of reasons. One, it gives you a stack of images to use in your lyrics. So, you do all this brainstorming, stream of consciousness, structure, whatever works, memories, make believe, and you fill the page. And that's why I want you to write this stuff down. Type it out, write it out. I don't care. Use an Etch-a-Sketch, but something to put these in a form where you can see it and not just up in your head.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yes.
So
no, I changed my mind. No, go ahead.
So Julia Cameron has like just a good exercise about this in her book, The Artist's Way, which we've talked about this before in the podcast. I recommend everybody go out and buy this book and buy a $10 like hardcover blank journal, right, with blank pages, so you can write.
I love those.
And part of the exercise of The Artist's Way is to sort of disengage the censorship piece of your brain. So you just sort of vomit.
Yeah.
And just write, fill up 3 pages of stuff and go back and figure out what's relevant and what isn't relevant. Yeah. This is like kind of what you're talking about. And this, the reason I wanted to point this out is you don't want to be thinking, does it work for this song? Does it fit for this song? Just describe the picture that you see in your head. Describe the shirt he's wearing. What does it smell like? What does it look like? Has it got a tattered elbow? Is it, is it blue flannel, beat up, smells like a chicken coop? Like, I mean, like what is it? Like, what is it? How does he look? Like, what does the suitcase look like? What kind of shoes is he wearing? What kind of blue jeans did he have on? Like, was his hair a mess because he just woke up in the morning, or was it slicked back and ready to go? Like, I'm going to go find a new girl hairdo.
Exactly.
Like, and then all of a sudden you start connecting those dots, but just put all that out there and don't think about the song yet.
Yeah, you're not trying to write lyrics.
Yeah, you're not trying to write lyrics yet. You're just trying to get images in the scene down, right? And so I think that's probably one of the biggest problems that I had when I wrote. It was just I'm trying to, because I want results.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been spending 30 seconds of this already and I should be half done.
Right.
Like, no, like just get a bunch of stuff out there and then go back and sort of cherry pick the cool stuff. But if you disengage your brain and just start writing,
the editor,
the editor, and just start writing from the heart and writing from your senses, I think, right, then that helps with that video thing.
Yeah, and also it's gonna make it more real to you, and we'll get into that in a second. But so you get this big stack of stuff, and now you have you can pick out the coolest images for your song. You're not just stuck using what you think of in the moment. So instead of, that's the best I could think of, the coolest image I could think of at the time, you get to say, that was the best I could think of, period. Right? Yeah. Not just, it rhymes, now I'm stuck on a rhyme, and now, why did I use blue skies? Because it rhymes with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Because now I'm chasing rhymes.
That's all you think of,
Yeah. Here you're stockpiling images, and you go, oh, that's really cool how he has that, gonna get a good new girlfriend, hairdo, whatever, that kind of thing. I'm going to put that in there because that speaks to so many more things than just an image. It also speaks to the emotional, what's going on in his mind, whatever. It allows you to pick that stuff out and have some cooler images than just trying to, write the next line.
Yeah.
The second thing is it really helps you solidify your thoughts. So one thing about writing it down, I've heard it said that thoughts untangle themselves when they pass across the lips and the fingertips.
Yeah.
Or the pencil tips, like, so if you write it out or you're talking it out, some people like verbal processors. My sister's that way.
Yeah.
She, we'll call and she just has stuff she needs to work out. And so she'll talk it through. I'm not saying much of anything.
You're just there listening.
I'm just there. She does it to my mom, and my mom is good. My mom, for sidebar, is glad to know that my sister can do that to me when my mom is no longer around one of these days. That Dion will be calling me. But
what would happen with your sister?
Exactly. If she didn't have that, right?
She's gonna explode.
Exactly. So she'll call me and she'll be working stuff out, whatever it is, and then she's like, "Oh, okay, thanks for that." I hardly said anything.
Yeah, you just were there breathing. I'm just going, oh my gosh, oh yeah, sure.
But it's that way though. I mean, I do that with people.
I do that all the time. I have like I call it a sounding board.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like where I'll just. And sometimes, like, I'll be talking with Lexi, and we'll be cooking up some ideas for one of our artists or whatever, and we'll both know, like, I'm in this part where I'm just, it's more for me than anything
just
else.
Sit there.
I'm just talking, and and
I'm working
just
it out,
thinking out loud, and and it does get untangled.
Yeah.
Untangled is a really good word, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
I wish
for
I
that.
thought of it.
Yeah.
But also when you're writing it out, it's one of those things you have to put words in a certain order. So it takes it from being that vague notion that you're trying to capture in your song. You're starting to sketch the story out. You're, instead of trying to come up with the next rhyme, you're more likely to think about what the thought needs to be. And a cool thought is so much more important than the cool rhyme, right?
Yeah.
The cool thought trumps a cool rhyme. Now you get that cool thought, then you try to add a cool rhyme on top of it.
Right.
To get the best of both worlds. But a cool rhyme without a cool thought is not as valuable as a cool thought with a cool rhyme.
That's right.
And also, man, it helps you connect to the heart of it, to really put yourself in that position. So maybe you're like, okay, I want to write. Okay, I had an event I guess it was last week or so, but at this point, a couple weeks ago, Know the Row event with Jimmy Yeary. Jimmy wrote I Drive Your Truck for Lee Brice, song of the ACM and CMA Song of the Year. He's written other number ones for Kenny Chesney and Rascal Flatts and stuff. And I was asking him about I Drive Your Truck and some of the images in there and how he did it. And basically, and he didn't write it out, but when he got brought into that idea and they had, like, here's the concept of it. Mm-hmm. And what he did was he watched the video in his mind. Like, he stepped into that, virtual reality kind of thing, the holodeck, and was going, what does this look like in this situation where, my brother died, he was a soldier, and I'm driving this truck. What's in the truck? It's not money in the ashtray, it's 89 cents in the ashtray. It's a half-empty bottle of Gatorade. And I asked him about that line that I always loved, that Go Army shirt folded in the back.
Right.
He's like, yeah, that was intentional because he's proud of being a soldier. So it's folded,
Because that's what you'd have in your Foot Locker or get your butt kicked. Yeah.
It's going to be folded. Yeah. And even in his truck, everything else might be a mess. And some of the lines, he went into the video in his mind and stepped into that world to make it real to him. So he was feeling emotional about it because he started being real. Like, what if my brother died in the military? What would that be like? And he stepped into the video for a song that they were still in process of writing. They hadn't written it yet, So this is what's making it real. So he knows how much changes in the ashtray, that it's a half-empty bottle of Gatorade, not of Coke or Diet Pepsi or whatever. Oh. And I asked him about the line about, you'd probably punch my arm right now if you saw this tear rolling down my face. I was like, I love that line because it's so true. Like, you can see this guy, he's an army guy, he's a country guy, he's your brother. He's going to punch you in the arm if you're crying, even if it's about him dying. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I was just trying to get myself in that headspace of if it were my brother and he saw me crying,
that's what brothers
would he do? Your brother would punch you in the arm. Like, what are you doing, man?
You're already crying.
Dude, come on. He's going to punch you and slug you in the arm. And so that's a case where Jimmy went into the video before they wrote the song and was seeing the sights, the sounds, the smells, and really inhabiting that. And that lets you write a more real, more honest song, even though Jimmy and Jesse and Connie, the writers of that song, didn't live that story.
Right.
But they were able to go into it. I mean, that's what happened with me in Monday Morning Church. So I had the phrase, empty as a Monday morning church. Okay, what is that saying to me? And to me, I was thinking about somebody having a crisis of faith because their spouse died that was a spiritual rock. And like, what does that look like? And I was kind of going into the video and I saw, the wife probably kept the Bible by the nightstand because that's where she'd do her Bible reading at night or something. It's still on the nightstand and he's struggling with God. And I'm looking over and there's this Bible sitting there, but I can't deal with God right now. So I'm opening up the nightstand, I'm putting the Bible in and shutting the drawer because I just can't deal. Mm-hmm. I can't talk to God without yelling right now. And so that was me going in to the video, stepping into the virtual reality, the Matrix, plugging into the Matrix and walking around and smelling the smells and touching and going, okay, like an actor preparing for a role, you're seeing it. And that ended up becoming the first part of Monday Morning Church. The first couple lines was I was going into the video. Mm. And so I think that helped me connect to the emotion. Like, in this situation, what would I do? What would it be like? And for Jimmy, with I Drive Your Truck, that's what it was. What would it be like? And so it helps you connect to it. Helps it become real. And if it's not real to you, how are you going to make it real to someone else? Yeah. It's so much... if you get lucky, I guess, you get the right people. But if you go into that video before you write, it really helps you connect to the emotion of it. And the other thing is, it helps you reach past the cliche images. Okay, so it might be easy to just write about how her feet are on the dashboard, right? Because that's what country songs say. And you're trying to find the next line that sings well or whatever. But if you spend more time on the story without being constrained by the next line syndrome, then you're more likely to say, well, no, actually her feet weren't on the dashboard. One leg was curled up under the other one. She was sitting shotgun. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's way more original and more believable just because it's more original, but yet we've all seen it. Yeah. They're not always up on the dash, one leg curled up under the other one.
Rarely are they up on the dash. Very dangerous way to drive, by the way. There's airbags there. Your knees could go right through your eye sockets if you get an accident.
Right.
I always think about that. Like, is that just the safety guy in me?
Yes.
Like, that's bananas.
Yeah. So, yeah. But it's more believable. And so writing the video out and putting the pictures down and what you really see is going to help you get past, this is what's in songs. This is what's in country songs. Her feet are always on the dash.
Right.
No, they're not. Do they have a floorboard on the dash? No. They don't put a mat on the dash for your feet.
Right.
Maybe we need to put that exfoliating pad on the dashboard for all these country girls that keep their feet on the... Anyway. So, helps you reach past the cliche images and get those 89 cents in the ashtray. The Go Army shirt folded in the back. It helps you get past all that stuff, that surface level that most people are going to write. But you're going to write better than that because you're a pro. And you're going to go past all that cliche stuff. And you can do that by stepping into the video, writing that video before you write the song.
Oh, I was just thinking about something.
Yes.
Like, if you're writing from a real life situation, if you're describing something, as opposed to getting inside and creating the video in your head, but if, let's say, like, you're really trying to write that and you go through this exercise, right? Then... wow, what kind of original stuff are you going to come up with there if you pay that much attention to the detail, the imagery that's already in your head, and just write that stuff out?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think of because it must have started with I Drive Your Truck or whatever. And this is like a totally random thing, but I remember my buddy Kurt Vorbrick, his older brother sometimes would drive us to high school, right? And he had this like VW Beetle, this crappy old Beetle, and we would take this back road into school, right? This country road. Yeah. And the Beetle in the back, the floorboards are like rusted out. Like you had your feet on the frame because you could see the ground like going.
You could like Fred Flintstone it if
you could totally
stop.
Fred Flintstone. Yeah. And then there's this like one like little hill. It was just a little hill, right? But it would jump like if you went too fast. Yeah. And we're jumping the Beetle. You know what I mean? Like this thing's totally about to fall apart just on a regular road, and we're jumping it. Why? Because we're crazy. Yeah. But I mean, think about like that imagery right there.
Yeah, you can actually see the road.
That's never been said in a country song, right? Like, so my point in saying that is like, here's just a memory that I had that was like so unique, right? Because it was that thing, and that's that because whatever you went through was really unique. So if you take that inventory of that imagery and write it down, then it's going to help you be more original, right? And help you really help you be more authentic.
Heck yeah. So
I don't know why I thought about that, but I did.
Well, I want to give you all a little value bomb here. This is something that because cliches, man. Every time you use a cliche in your song, someone kicks a puppy.
That's right.
We want to avoid it if we can. And so there's a kind of a technique or an exercise I do in some of my classes to help people practice going. It's called Beyond the Cliche. So it's like you give me a country cliche or some sort of lyrical cliche, and then we try to explode it and go, what could we replace that with? And so you're intentional going, so the radio up and the windows down, right? Or say feet on the dash. Let's do the feet on the dash thing. Like, okay, feet on the dash. That's the cliche. It makes sense. What is the girl doing when she's riding beside you in the truck or the car, right? So we do want to describe that oftentimes in songs, but I don't want to do feet on the dash because everybody does feet on the dash. Right. The A&R person will fall asleep for a second, a little narcolepsy. What happened? Sorry, what? Her feet on the dash, and I just lost it. So we want to do the opposite. We want to make them sit up and pay attention. So how do we describe what she's doing other than sitting up with the feet on the dash? And so then you make a list or you fill up a page. I'm going to challenge myself to write other things she's doing. In that seat, that situation, same situation, but I'm removing the cliche and I'm inserting, and it's not that the cliche is not real, but it's inserting other things. And so then you just riff on that. Not trying to write a line, not trying to rhyme.
Like gently rubbing her fingers across my hand. Yeah. Across my right hand while my left hand's on the wheel. Yeah. Or
taking duck face selfies with the Ray-Bans on.
Yeah. There you go.
Throwing the peace sign at every cop we pass. Her wild hair blowing around in the midnight air. or making a side braid and crushing on Coldplay.
There you go.
Tossing her high heels in the back and pulling a pony through her ball cap. Like, what other stuff is she doing?
How about like what do they call that when you punch the other person because there's a headlight out?
Oh, slug bug.
Slug bug,
or one of those,
or slug bug. Yeah, same kind of thing,
bug,
right?
Yeah.
Or the lights out. I can't remember what they call it when the lights out. So you got one headlight. I was like,
yeah, padoodles, and I don't know. They call them different stuff.
Is it padiddle? Is that what
something like that?
Yeah, I think it's padiddle. And then you get a punch in the arm.
Holding your breath over. Or picking your feet up over railroad tracks and holding your breath over a bridge and all that dumb stuff. So, like, okay, riff on that for a while. Write it down. And what's cool is you keep that in your notebook, in your journal, whatever, Word file or whatever on your computer. You're writing the car driving song, and your co-writer's like, and you got your feet on the dash. Like, whoa.
Hold on.
Take your feet off the dash. Hold on, let me...
Put your feet down on the floor and step away from the dash.
Step away from the cliche. And you're like, hold on. I got some paper here. Let me look at this. Oh, no, she's making duck face selfies. Or whatever. It is. And you're like,
making a side braid and crushing on Coldplay.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yes. What? That's better, right? Yeah. And you didn't even have to come up with it in the room because you've already done the work ahead of time.
You already did a little inventory.
Right.
Stacked up some cool stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my little value bomb news you can use today. But, okay, so I have another opportunity. So you can do that. If you want more stuff like that, like usable, tactical, like how can I write better songs? How can I write songs that are going to be more commercial? I want to level up, right? Your songwriting, I have an opportunity for you.
All right.
So in July, I am hosting Songwriting Pros Building a Hit from Blank Page to Finished Lyric. And that's exactly what I'm walking you through. Giving you techniques to repeatedly beat the crap out of a blank page, so it's not blank anymore, to get words on page, get your songs started, how to frame them, how to focus them, and how to finish them. Because your best songs in the world aren't the best songs in the world if they aren't finished, right? It can be 99% done in your notebook, and that means 0 to the rest of the world. It's not going to change your life. So it's a 4-week series online. You can join from anywhere in the world, once a week, just about every week in July. Go through that, and basically it's teaching you how to fish. I mean, it's teaching you how to repeatable processes that you can use on every song to help make every song you write better. And to get all the details on that, spots are limited. I keep it a small crew because there's a lot of interaction, a lot of Q&A, that kind of stuff, and I only do it twice a year. So if you miss this one, it's gone for a while. But you can get all the details at giftfrombrent.com. Basically, when you go there, I'm giving away a free ebook called Think Like a Pro Songwriter. You just download the free ebook, let me know where to send it. Then I also will send you information about this event. You get blog posts, a lot of good free goodies because you're on the Songwriting Pro Insiders list. But that'll give you the dates, give you where to go to get all the details and all that stuff, and where you can reserve your seat. So go to giftfrombrent.com. It'll hook you up.
There you go. And I mean, hey, it's education, right? It's another way to exercise. It's writing up. Like if you're stuck a little bit in your songwriting, and every artist gets a little stuck. Every writer gets a little stuck. And I think of artists like I think writers are artists to me.
Yes,
it's an art form to me, and I think marketing is an art form. So I view them all as artists. But to make that distinction, like guys. There's nothing more exciting than getting some new information, and then you just get really intoxicated with, wow, like I gotta go back and rewrite like 5 different things because I could, because you just get excited because you just got a little better, and now you want to apply that knowledge to all this other stuff. Yeah. So make it happen. Giftfrombrent.com. Get on the list if you're not already on the list. Hey, join the C.L.I.M.B community on Facebook. Just search for the C.L.I.M B community and ask to be let in. We'll let everybody in. We'll roadhouse you if you're obnoxious. Share this information if you like it. You've got a musician, a friend, a band member, another songwriter, somebody that could get some value from this. Let them know it's going to make you look cool. Believe me, everybody that listens to this, they binge listen to it. Ask our numbers. Like the stats tell us all the time. Number 3, subscribe. Make sure that you get that stuff automatically in your podcast player. Every full episode on Tuesday and every mini-sode on Friday. And then finally, take 30 seconds and leave a rating and review. It would mean the world to us, and it means the world to people who are thinking about dipping their toe in and not sure whether or not they should devote the kind of time, because that is your most precious commodity. And when you leave a 5-star rating with a review, it lets them know that, hey, this is legit, it's good to go. So this podcast exists because we want you to win, guys, so keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.